this is a phrase I learned in college, and that is that action breaks the cycle. If you're really afraid of something, take action. And if you're afraid of letting your kids go, let them go, because thinking about them doesn't change it. You'll go off into worries. And the only thing that breaks that cycle of fear, I would say, and anxiety is action. And that's sort of what Camillo's study proved too. When those kids took action and became part of the world and saw how much they could handle, they changed. So action breaks the cycle. When I describe like free range kids, which was, before I started Let Grow, free range kids, I went around the country talking about these ideas, but Let Grow is dedicated to making these actions really easy, giving kids free play and giving them independence so that they happen, that we're not just thinking about them like, oh, free play would be good. Oh, independence would be good. No, this makes them happen. And then everything changes. Your kids grow. And from both of these things, they're better off when we give them free play and independence.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I think it mirrors something else that Heather and I frequently talk about in an educational context, which is that an education that is all abstraction, even if it's very high quality abstraction, does not train the mind for the world the way any activity in which success or failure is clear and you don't need an authority to tell you, right? If you're trying to fix an engine, you can't, fool it into working. It either works or it doesn't. And
that trains working.
Yeah, that has never worked.
Right.
So that's important. And I also think that action, this bias towards action that you describe, what was your phrase?
Action breaks the cycle.
Action breaks the cycle goes to this issue of, my version was the cat under the bed can't learn the thing. Mm-hmm. If you, in the examples in the study where the kids had something go wrong and basically they developed a track record of successfully solving a problem, and it didn't matter that it wasn't on the topic of the thing that most frightened them. It was just like, oh, I'm a problem solving person.
Right. It's a new definition of yourself. I can do this. I can handle it. Oh, things come up. I'm okay. Maybe they think that in an emergency, they're preternaturally calm at this point because they did handle something. I mean, anxiety is thinking you can't handle something, and so you avoid it. And the opposite is confidence, going like, okay, even if this goes to, even if something goes wrong, it'll be all right.
My grandfather's name was Harry. He was a great guy. He was a lot of fun. He did cool stuff. He used to go backpacking, rode his bike, through the city to go body surfing. Anyway, he was a cool guy. But he had a relationship with risk that was misunderstood by almost everybody. He had the reputation of being a safety nut.
Oh, really? Even though he was a body surfer? Huh.
See, that's just the thing. So he was a pollution control chemist. He saw people get hurt in an industrial context. He told me a story about a guy after World War II that he saw at the coffee shop, and he noticed that the guy had a very smooth manner of picking up a cup of coffee and putting it down. And it was sufficiently bizarre that he asked the guy about it at some point.
Yeah, what was it?
Guy was a bomb maker.
That's great.
Yeah. But anyway, my experience of my grandfather does not fit with the idea that he was a safety net. He certainly, I had my hair was really long at one point, and he's like, Bret, I want to talk to you about your hair. And I was like, yeah, I'm sure you don't like it. And he's like, no, I don't give a damn. But you work with a lot of power tools. And let me tell you.
I can't even think about it. Yes. No, I used to play.
Exactly.
I know. Pull it back. Yes.
Yep. So he's a guy who spotted risks and talked about them explicitly, which is where he got his reputation as a safety net. But my memory of him, he took me when I was 13-ish. We hiked up Mount Whitney. And Mount Whitney above tree line is a very rocky, desolate, difficult place. And there's a lot of switchbacks going up the last segment of it. And it's very boring, and the air is thin, and it's not it's the last part of the hike is not fun. We get to the top, and he breaks out some trash bags, and we decide, he says, we're not walking down the switchbacks. We're going to slide down this glacier. Yeah. No, it was totally cool. It was great. It worked wonderfully. He had been there before. He knew that this was going to work. So a guy who slides down a glacier from a 14,000 foot peak on a trash bag is not a safety nut. At least that does not sum him up.
Yeah, right.
But what I realized at his death, after his death, I heard a lot about how obsessed with safety he was. And my thinking was, no, that's not what's going on. What it was he was such an explicit, careful relationship with risk that he could afford to take a ton of it. And that, what I'm getting at is, by teaching your child to face risk in an intelligent way that lets them manage it, you are buying them the ability to experience incredible things, right? If you want to go to the far reaches of the world, you better have a relationship with risk that goes way back and allows you to deal with it so that you can go to that place and make it home safely, right? And it's like, that's the question. Do you want your child to be rich in this currency, in the ability to face risk and live to tell the tale? Do you want your child to have stories, right?
Yeah. The stories is so amazing. So I just have to say one thing, and then at some point we will end the conversation. But when I was just talking before about somebody who believed in you, maybe before you believed in yourself, and your grandfather takes his precious, precious grandson, just bar mitzvah age, to the top of a glacier and says, we're going to slide down and you're going to be fine.
Yeah. No, that was really it. And that does fit exactly, because I was also not academically successful. I had a terrible time in school, just absolutely appalling. And I sort of thought that meant that my intellectual life was over, because I just couldn't figure the school thing out. My grandfather didn't think any such thing. He believed in me, and, okay, so you're not good at school. Like, and, right? So it is exactly the perfect example of your story. He believed in me, and it mattered a great deal. And I'm still thinking about his relationship with risk, because
you're still thinking about your relationship with him.
Absolutely. All the time, actually.
Yeah. Wow. That's a cool grandpa.
Yeah, he was great. He was fantastic.